As I've said, one of the best aspects of My Little Pony is its huge cast of fantastic characters. From background extras to the main cast, just about every one of them is charming, memorable, or just interesting. There are so many that when I went to count down the best characters, I quickly found a problem. I couldn't in good conscience leave off any of the main cast members, but between the main 6, Spike, and the CMC, that takes up 10 spots right there. Then, of course, if we're counting the Equestria Girls films, I have to include Sunset Shimmer among the main cast, which is 11, and then, well, Starlight's practically a main character by this point too, so that's 12. So, I decided to split the countdown into 2 and leave the main cast members for later. Hold on to your reins, because today we're counting down the top 12 supporting cast members of My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. Number 12. Derpy, aka Muffins. I put her this low on the list because there's a fine line between supporting character and running gag, and let's face it, she's just this side of it. But of course I couldn't very well leave her out. What started as an animation error in the pilot became one of the most beloved figures in the whole series. Most of the time she serves as the subject of an ongoing game of Where's Waldo, with the fans keeping a sharp eye out for her frequent cameos. Sometimes, though, she plays a bigger role, and we get to know her a little as a cheerful klutz who means well, but inevitably spells doom for anything she's involved in.
Oh, I wish there was a way I could go back in time and fix all this.
Most of the time, she doesn't even have to do anything. The moment she shows her cross-eyed face, the joke is already understood.
We even have a replacement.
She rarely speaks and almost never impacts the plot, but she doesn't have to. She just has to be, and that makes her a pretty special character in my book.
I just don't know what went wrong.
Number 11. Sunburst. Starlight's childhood friend, Sunburst is a nerdy, reclusive scholar who knows everything there is to know about magic, but is completely untalented in actually performing it.
You don't know what it was like at magic school, to know so much and not be able to do any of it.
He goes low on the list because he hasn't had a lot of screen time yet, but he's got a charmingly awkward personality that is both a lot of fun in itself and plays great alongside Starlight's.
You're so terrified ponies won't find out what you did that you can't make any friends!
Did you really travel through time?
As well, his plight of being extremely intelligent but seemingly unable to put it to good use is both very relatable and something you don't really see that much in fiction. We feel for this guy almost from the moment we meet him and really want him to succeed. So whenever he does achieve something, we're cheering for him all the way. He's a lovable underachiever, bursting with potential, and I can only hope we see more of him down the road.
I can't think of any pony more qualified.
Number 10. Ember. Dragons are cool and princesses are cool, so what could be better than a dragon princess? Enter Princess Ember, daughter of the Dragon Lord, who ends up befriending Spike, becomes Dragon Lord herself, and tries to bring friendship to the dragon culture. What makes her interesting is that she's tough and combative, but never comes across like a jerk. Instead, she just feels like someone who comes from a different culture from the other characters, and though she's willing to learn from them, she's still going to do her own thing. This makes her stand out among the rest of the cast.
Well, you know what us dragons say. Push past the pain. Now let's go.
Or we could stay here.
Or I could go without you. I like her.
At times, she almost feels like she's walked in from a different, more action-oriented show, which leads to a lot of funny moments where she deals with what to her seem new and weird ways of doing things. This gives the writers a nice opportunity to poke a little fun at themselves.
You're both purple ponies with purple hair. You both have cutie marks with sparkly things.
Mine's more of a glimmer.
How is that different?
But at the same time, she lets us see the warm and good-natured heart hidden beneath her prickly exterior, reminding us again and again that she's being a good friend in her own way.
And I am. I mean, we are. I never should have left you back there. Please don't make me talk about my feelings.
Gruff and unyielding, yet kind and sympathetic, Ember is a unique character who always leaves an impact.
Is this another part of pony friendship? Telling each other what you learned all the time?
Number 9. Princess Flurryheart. Twilight's baby niece is born in the 6th season premiere and immediately started making everything better by her mere presence. In the first place, dear Lord, just look at her. She's so cute, I'm surprised the computers didn't crash trying to render her.
I can't imagine canceling such a beautiful and important ceremony over something so potentially adorable.
Beyond sheer adorableness, however, Flurryheart has a lot of interesting points. Her being born an alicorn is an intriguing development, since it's been established that alicorns, as a rule, earn their position through heroic deeds, and that Flurry's the first alicorn born in Equestria. It also creates an interesting dynamic in that Flurry's immensely powerful, but still just a baby. She can cast complex spells, but hasn't mastered winking yet. Thus, the adults have to keep a close eye on her lest she get out of control, but can't be too firm for fear of scaring her.
Well, at least she's having fun.
Beyond all that, I think one of the reasons I like her so much is that I have an adorable young niece myself, and so can completely relate to Twilight's relationship with her. Their interactions perfectly capture both how much fun little kids are to play with and how exhausting they can be. They also capture that constant fear of doing something to break the magic and hurt their delicate little feelings, and how horrible you feels if you do.
None of this is your fault. It's mine. So much for being the best aunt ever. But I hope you know how much I love you.
Flurryheart captures the magic of babies, and that's something special.
And she taught me a really cool bear game. So I guess I learned 2 things.
Number 8. Queen Chrysalis. There have been a lot of great villains on this show, but for my money, Queen Chrysalis is the nastiest. She's like a combination of Mystique, the alien queen, and Kate Malay, and if that doesn't scare you, no evil thing will.
Every pony I'll soon control. Every stallion, mare, and foal. Who says a girl can really have it all?
Chrysalis might not be the most powerful bad guy out there, but she's arguably the most dangerous. Not only is she able to disguise herself as anything and anyone, but she also leads a swarm of shape-shifting vampiric changelings, and wields powerful magic that grows stronger the more love she sucks out of those around her.
Consuming it has made me even more powerful than Celestia!
Even worse, Chrysalis is devious and frighteningly patient. Her plans are always intricately devised, and she's willing to wait years to carry them out. This combination of cunning and raw magical might has led her to come very close to conquering Equestria on more than one occasion. Just knowing she's still out there plotting another outrage is enough to make us fear for our plucky heroines.
There is no revenge you could ever conceive of that will come close to what I will exact upon you one day.
Part horse, part insect, and all mean, Chrysalis is one bad girl we love to hate.
It's taken quite a while to find you, Zecora.
Number 7. Zecora. Initially the subject of a lesson about prejudice, this enigmatic zebra is one of the more intriguing figures in the whole series. We know she's wise, helpful, and deceptively powerful, but the rest of her character remains a mystery. She's the only zebra we've met, and we don't know where she's from or why she's here. She lives in a dangerous forest, apparently without trouble, seems to have mastered all kinds of arcane knowledge, and even appears to possess magical powers despite not being a unicorn.
When it comes to magic, it would be tragic if some pony licked me.
This is all the more intriguing for how oblique it is. Zecora keeps hinting at deep reserves of power and wisdom, but she keeps it veiled. Most of the time, she's content to simply advise our heroines and occasionally whip up a magical remedy for what ails them, or act as a chaperone and mentor to the local children.
Now, Apple Bloom, do not be silly. You are always welcome, my little filly. With each mistake, you learn something new, growing up into a better you.
Wise, kind, powerful, and completely mysterious, Zecora's a character who always catches your attention.
What's brewing in your cauldron?
It ties the room together and emits a warm glow. But if I am to be honest, it's just for show.
Number 6. Big Macintosh.
Yep.
Okay. One of the most prominent male characters on the show, Applejack's older brother is a refreshingly positive image of masculinity. He's strong, honest, dependable, and cares deeply about his family, as well as being the source of some great gags with his clipped monosyllabic dialogue.
There wouldn't have been an overboard if Big Mac hadn't overpacked a jalopy.
Yep. Hey!
Besides that, though, he's another example of the show's mastery of character. He's very much the strong, silent type, but almost from the beginning they let us know that his stoicism doesn't mean he's stupid. On the contrary, he's actually very intelligent, more so than Applejack at times.
And one pony plus hundreds of apple trees just doesn't add up to...
Don't you use your fancy mathematics to muddy the issue.
Smart as he is, though, he keeps his thoughts and his feelings to himself for the most part, and just focuses on doing his job. But whenever he does open up, he reveals not only a shrewd mind, but strong values, some surprising interests, and a very believable set of regrets and self-doubts.
Bloom,
Yeah?
when you were little, you used to look up to me. Thought I was the best thing since Zap Apple Jam. Things are different now. Applejack's the hero of the Apple family. Always rushing off to save Equestria. And I'm just here on the farm, doing chores, helping out the way I can. Nothing special, nobody's hero. I guess I just thought, oh, never mind. Here I am about to start blabbering on about my feelings. You don't want to hear all this.
He may be just a simple, hard-working farmer, but Big Mac shows just how interesting someone like that can be.
I just need to talk less, listen more, especially to you.
Number 5. Trixie. A boastful stage magician and would-be rival to Twilight, the great and powerful Trixie may not be as magically talented as she likes to pretend, but she makes up for it with a scenery-chewing, irresistibly egotistical personality that almost can't help but entertain.
The humble and penitent Trixie's Equestrian Apology Tour.
That's kind of a mouthful. It's a working title.
Trixie is a selfish, arrogant braggart who has very little in the way of either talent or virtue, and we love every minute in her company.
Yay, Trixie! You're so great at magic and having good hair.
She's hilariously horrible most of the time, but we eventually learn that her selfish behavior isn't because she doesn't care about others, but more because she genuinely doesn't realize how her behavior is perceived. That is, she's less mean-spirited than she is just self-absorbed and oblivious.
I like you. Beating Twilight is just a bonus. Oh, saying that didn't help, did it?
That said, Trixie does ultimately mean well, at least most of the time. Though prone to let her pettiness get the better of her, she honestly wants to do the right thing, and once she becomes Starlight's best friend, shows that she is capable of loyalty, self-sacrifice, and compassion. At least, once she's exhausted every other option. Again, this is a very believable characterization. Someone who is insensitive, highly dramatic, and kind of selfish, but who genuinely cares for her friends, even if she doesn't always know how to show it.
Whatever. I'm complimenting you. And me. We can do this because we're amazing, and magic is friendship and stuff.
Often selfish, sometimes sweet, and constantly entertaining, Trixie is one performance that always gets an applause.
Haven't you learned anything about using magic to solve your problems?
No. If we learn that lesson, how will we ever have fun?
Number 4. Maud Pie. Pinkie Pie's older sister is simultaneously the most boring person you can imagine and one of the funniest characters on the whole show.
How did the two of you first meet?
It was a dark and stormy night. Little did I know that my life was about to change forever.
Where her sister is a party-loving, non-stop ball of energy, Maud is stoic, laconic, and passionately interested in rocks.
This next one is about rocks. They're all about rocks.
Her blank expressions and emotionless delivery, along with the black hole of awkwardness she creates wherever she goes, means that almost everything she says or does is absolutely hilarious.
My favorite.
It helps that most of her scenes are opposite Pinky, who is both her complete opposite and apparently the only one who is unaware of the fact.
How's school going?
If you thought quartz was high on the Mohs hardness scale, wait till I tell you about corundum.
I missed you so much!
But Maud isn't just funny. She's the source of some truly touching moments and some really fantastic writing. In the first place, her relationship with Pinky is wonderful. Funny as it is to see these two play off one another, we also see that they're extremely close and love each other very much. Their personalities couldn't be more different, but they understand each other perfectly.
Gift giving isn't a competition. It's an expression of love, and you always make sure to give your gifts with lots of love. That's why I'll always love them, and you, 5 ever. That's even longer than 4 ever.
On that subject, the show does something very interesting with Maud, in that we come to understand that her stoic exterior doesn't mean she doesn't have emotions, just that she has trouble expressing them. At various times, she gets frustrated, amused, and angry. She even admits to being lonely at one point, acknowledging how hard it is for her to make friends.
It isn't hard to meet some pony I like. It's finding some pony who gets me.
In short, strange and off-putting as she is, at the end of the day, Maud is shown to be just a pony like anyone else.
So, other than rocks, what else are you into?
Minerals, plate tectonics. Oh, and stand-up comedy, of course.
Able to bring both the laughs and the tears, Maud is a character with a rock-solid place in my heart.
I don't know if you've noticed, but I don't show my enthusiasm for things quite in the same way my sister does.
Number 3. Princess Celestia. Ruler of Equestria and Twilight's teacher, Princess Celestia stands comfortably in the tradition of wise mentor characters while bringing her own fresh take on the role. Of course, she's very wise, kindly, and all-around awesome, but it turns out there's more to her than that.
I am embarrassed to admit it, but I was afraid if you made friends, you wouldn't need me anymore.
Thanks to some wonderful voice acting by Nicole Oliver, Celestia comes across as, for lack of a better word, a very human character. She wields tremendous authority and awesome power, but as the show goes on, we learn that her apparent perfection is a mask, which she feels she has to wear for the sake of her subjects, something that she secretly finds very exhausting.
But by the time I get to retire for the night, I can barely see straight.
Underneath, she's as flawed as anyone, but she's keenly aware of how much her people respect and look up to her, and so she tries hard to live up to their expectations and be the idol they need her to be.
For my subjects, it has always been a celebration of my defeat of Nightmare Moon. But for me, it was just a terrible reminder that I'd had to banish my own sister.
That's really a very good image of leadership. And as this indicates, she's shown to genuinely care about her subjects on a personal level, which actually creates a bit of a conflict. She would like to be able to interact with them personally, but they all hold her in such reverence that she has trouble getting them to relax around her.
No need for that now, Princess Twilight.
Sorry.
No need to apologize.
Sorry!
It's equally clear that she dearly loves the people who are close to her, especially her sister Luna and her favorite student Twilight. Meanwhile, when she does have an unguarded moment, she reveals not just her own set of flaws, but also a surprisingly playful, fun-loving personality with a mischievous sense of humor.
Gotcha.
But all her kindness only makes her rare moments of anger all the more alarming. Right from the start, we sense this is one pony you do not want to cross.
Twilight Sparkler! Willy-nilly.
Princess Celestia's job is literally to be as perfect as possible, and she does a great job as far as I'm concerned.
I can't just send her off to Celestia knows where without thinking it through.
I was not aware that I was an expression.
Number 2. Discord. When you watch a show called My Little Pony, you don't really expect a wisecracking mad god to be among the cast, but oh, we are so glad he is.
Go Discord!
Voiced by Star Trek veteran John Delancey, the Lord of Chaos can quite literally do and be anything, more or less like the genie from Aladdin if he were a complete jerk. resulting in some gloriously surreal visual humor.
Have an absolutely fabulous voyage.
Discord.
But if he were only a manic goofball or crazy villain, he wouldn't be nearly so interesting. What elevates him to being a great character is that the show actually gives him a surprisingly nuanced character arc. He starts off being one of the nastiest villains of the series before being slowly but steadily reformed by our main cast, primarily Fluttershy.
Now, he's learned his lesson. Isn't that right, my little patient?
Turns out, this made him all the more interesting to watch, as neither we nor the characters know what he'll do in any given episode. Whether he'll be trying to help, looking to cause trouble, or some combination of the two.
Oh my, is eavesdropping not the way you're supposed to find out what your best pals are up to? Woe is me. Will I ever learn the intricate nuances of being a good friend?
At the same time, though, we're pulling for him to keep making progress, and every step he takes towards being a more heroic figure is all the more satisfying for the fact that it feels earned.
I'm trying to say I'm sorry, all right? I'm sorry for ruining your game, and I'm sorry that I thought I was better than you. Now let's play before this evening gets any sappier, shall we?
His relationship with Fluttershy is great as well. These two are pretty much the last characters you'd ever expect to be friends, but as it turns out, they have a very believable chemistry, with Discord being first confused, then touched by the fact that Fluttershy is actually trying to be kind to him, and then subsequently struggling to figure out how to respond to her friendship. Because we know he doesn't normally care about anything, it's all the more engaging to see him come to care for her.
They took Fluttershy?
Yes.
Where?
In short, strange and goofy as he is, Discord actually showcases a complex, consistent, and rather deep characterization. He's at the center of both some of the show's funniest moments and some of its most dramatic moments.
I'm sorry.
I know.
Whether as an evil overlord or a lovable oddball, Discord's one of the most entertaining and engaging characters out there.
Wait a minute, where's my throne?
I don't think you're quite there yet.
Yes, well, I suppose not.
And before we get to number one, some honorable mentions.
Never better. Being a father is amazing and wonderful and amazing and confusing and amazing, but surprising too, you know? I mean, not that you'd know. You wouldn't know, I know. You know?
Hi, Sugarcoat. That was a really bad speech. You should consider not speaking in public.
Then it is the riskiest, scariest, darn fool thing I ever did do. And that's not to say I don't wish I was still young and spry and confident, but let's leave the flying through the air to the Pegasi.
Come on, Vapor Trail! You're gonna have to build up your endurance if you want a shot at the Academy. Wonderbolts don't get winded! Angel Wings! You call that cloud busting? That cloud barely knew you were there! I love my job.
And my pick for the best supporting cast member is Princess Luna. Luna, I think, is not only one of the best characters on the show, but also one of its crowning artistic achievements. She starts off in the pilot as the villainous Nightmare Moon before being reformed by the main six and her sister. She then becomes one of the more dynamic characters on the show as she deals with the very different world she's come back to, the shame and shadow of her past mistakes, and the lingering flaws and vices that led her to her rebellion in the first place.
Well, there's nothing wrong here, right, sister?
No, everything's perfect as usual, sister.
It's clear that Luna loves her sister, but still feels a degree of jealousy towards her, as is only natural, since, again, Celestia's job is literally to be as perfect as possible.
Is that what exhausts you? Smiling and being adored by every pony?
At the same time, she's still horrified by her own past actions, and even feels the need to punish herself for them.
Created the Tandibus to give myself the same nightmare every night. To punish myself for the evil I caused as Nightmare Moon.
This potent blend of being at once punishingly ashamed of her past behavior and still unable to shake the feelings that led to it would be enough by itself to make Luna a fascinating character. But in addition, she has a number of points that make her even more irresistibly engaging. In the first place, part of her duty as Princess of the Night is to enter ponies' dreams and protect them from their nightmares. This is what made me call her a crowning artistic achievement. The idea of a beautiful, powerful, and kind princess who patrols the dreams of children to protect them from nightmares is a wonderful idea, mythic even. It's at once endlessly suggestive and immensely heartwarming, enough to haunt the dreams of anyone watching, but in a comforting rather than disturbing way.
This Luna! It's really you! Or am I dreaming? What do you think? Let me see. You just rescued me from a maniacal laughing rarity cloud. Yeah, probably dreaming.
This leads to another aspect of Luna, her great kindness and gentleness, especially towards children. It's clear early on that Luna really loves kids and is able to engage with them in a wonderfully charming way. At the same time, she's a bit more cerebral than her sister, very much the introvert to Celestia's extrovert.
Normally, I have all the time and solitude I need to work through my problems at my own pace.
Well, your sister doesn't get that luxury.
This creates an interesting dynamic between the two and makes their relationship all the more engaging as they each serve as a foil and check to the other.
I know you have to be perfect for every pony else, and you do an amazing job, but you don't have to do it for me.
Mythic in scope, fascinatingly complex, and endlessly charming, there's no question in my mind that Princess Luna is the best supporting cast member on the show.
Most wonderful of nights.
Tune in next time when we count down the top 12 of the main cast members, of which there are 12.